got a big pack and your whole back. Woo, and it's whip form. Get your whole back. Yeah. Yeah. It's your whole back. Yeah. Yo, been one call me. I'ma pull up.
What is going on, guys? Austin here with the Dustin LeBleu CEO podcast, and as per usual, I am joined by the man himself.
What?
Yes, what? Anyway, guys, this is kind of a follow-up to the last podcast, so you guys kind of heard a little bit about the story, how we ended up where we are currently at now, and basically, this one's going to be about, hey, you have a budget now. You're essentially an established business. What is your next move, and what moves are the most viable to make?
And I think this is what a lot of people want to hear about. They want to hear about the now, because here in the latter part of or the early part of the business is kind of like stressful to them. It's like very stressful to hear like, oh, it is a lot of hard work and blah blah blah.
Yeah. So, what would you say? So at this point, you've made a little bit of income. You've got some money banked up, and you're wanting to reinvest into the business. You want to further expand. Let's take it from the top, man. Let's see what your number one thing would be for you. What's the first thing that comes off the top of your head?
I think right now, man, I'm obsessed with like emerging markets, like growing internationally, like globally. Like I'm really like big on like India, bringing our products to India, we're already in Mexico, like just really expanding upon that through social networks. So instead of just using social media, which is obviously like if you're not on Facebook and Instagram, you're kicking yourself in the ass. Like we've been on there, like I said with Jason in the last podcast, it's been since the beginning we've been on Facebook. So really growing on there and doing ads in different languages, like just getting into like real nitty gritty stuff that you wouldn't have thought about back in the day. And now we have a little bit of budget to work with. So putting, at least 90% of my budget into Facebook and Instagram ads, and Snapchat, things like that. Yeah,
man. So that's basically kind of like a culmination of expanding globally. And along the same lines of like actually defining your target audience and, targeting them with specific ads, like you said, in different languages and things of that nature that most people usually wouldn't go after or think of right off the bat as soon as they've acquired, like a little bit of money outside of, what they normally do. But it's a really good thing to do. I've kind of seen, like how we've expanded so rapidly within like Mexico and in India especially. It's just exploded, it seems like.
Well, we'll legit like this. I'll take you just to an office day. I'll have my guys, Jason will be one of them. We'll be like, hey, we really need to get into Dubai or something like this. So we'll just straight target those countries, like the Dubai and surrounding countries. We'll target those and go right after them, and we'll take some of the marketing budget and put it into that. Now, it's actually shocking to me that a lot of people don't do this. Like it's actually pretty weird in a way. I mean, if you're not looking at a global, it's in a global economy these days. You got to really look at it as like, if it's selling in the U.S., it's probably going to sell somewhere else.
Yeah. And, that kind of ties into expanding your location. So, again, that's expanding globally and internationally. And the same thing can be said, I think, stateside here in the USA. So, we're speaking in regards to the U.S. here. So, I think, if you're not in a vast amount of brick and mortar stores, or if you haven't even attempted that yet and you've solely been an online retailer, that's potentially something that you should look at. I mean, for instance, we were, like a brand that was specifically, we had one online retailer, which was our own website. And then we were expanding, through multiple brick and mortar stores. That was kind of our game. And now we do have another online retailer in the U.S.
So we brought on a strategic partner with A1 Supplements, and it had to be the right fit, and they were the right fit for that.
Yeah.
But expanding on that, it's like we started with brick and mortar, and a lot of the, you guys don't really know this, but we're just in like mom and pops. That's kind of what we focused on. We've never really went into a corporate GNC vitamin shop type atmosphere, which could be in the in play pretty soon. But it's something that we're working on, and it just wasn't in our business model just in the first round of. Kind of bringing things around, but now we're looking into different areas like that. So it's always, wanting to expand and wanting to expand outside your comfort zone.
Yeah. And the other thing, I guess, like you mentioned, would be the forming of alliances, kind of like we've done with A1 Supplements. So not only is it like a strategic alliance, but it's also somewhat of a partner thing, which allows us to do, like certain sales with them, I guess you would say, What is the best way to
Well, you gain
like
that,
like
you gain the
exclusives?
respect.
Yeah. So would you say like exclusives?
There you go. Yeah,
So-
exactly. So like we just did a psychotic sale yesterday where they understood that, hey, we'll do this deal with you. They're a good enough partner to where they understand that it's only going to last a day. We don't want people undervaluing our product, and that's a big thing for us. Like, our product is a top-notch product, and we want it to be out there, but we want it to be at a certain price. So we pick these certain vendors that we build relationships over time. I've been dealing with A1 Supplements for 7 years now, so it's like those guys are good guys. We know they're going to follow by our rules, and it works out for both of us. And that's the case with that's even with the case with like mom and pops or whatever you're dealing with, India, Mexico, whatever countries you're dealing with. You want these kind of relationships built up. That way you can work together as a team to push the product, and you're both making money essentially.
Exactly. And I think one thing that we do exceptionally well that we're still building to this day, we are now over 5,000 people strong in, is our ambassador and influencer program.
Oh, 100%.
I think this is a market which is, a side of the market which is, it's blatantly obvious. Mm-hmm. However, a vast majority of the time, people overlook it. People see like, oh, this Instagram person is pushing a certain product, that's cool. Well, odds are they are being paid. Right. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If they've got 250,000 to 5 million followers, that person did not make that post for free.
Right.
So
it's influencer marketing, man.
Exactly. And I mean, you can go on that a little bit. I mean, that's a big thing that we've done ourselves.
Yeah, we've done it ourselves, and we've done it in a really unique, different way. We've allowed essentially anybody to be part of the team, which I think is really cool because that's something we experimented off the bat. We went after like bigger people and things like that, and it was always like some of the smaller guys that were just starting out, like it didn't give them a chance. So we figured like, let's implement this, give them a chance. It allows them to grow. And we have some people that have grown to massive followings now. Yep. And so it's like, it's really cool to see. And I think if you give them the opportunity, it's just like anything, man. 10% of them might actually do what they said they're going to do, but it's like giving them a chance. At least you're giving them a chance, and it helps the brand grow. But also, too, you still go with some of the bigger guys as well, and you do pay them. That's just a fact.
Yeah, and I've actually got 3 points here, which somewhat can tie into the influencer thing. Okay. But at the same time, they are their own animal in and of themselves. So, again, this is, you've got your money, you're looking to do some different things. So, the first thing that I can think of, in which we are kind of in this niche right now, or this specific avenue, is developing our brand specifically outside of our normal product range. Okay, so normally we're doing supplements, and as of late, we have found out, hey, if we develop some cool looking clothes, if we develop, some branded items like we've done recently, Oakley backpacks that are, if I'm not mistaken, they're probably almost sold out.
I think last time actually sold out.
Yeah, last time I checked, they were almost gone. We do the high-end apparel, like, printing on American Apparel or Next Level, which for those of you that don't know, those are your top brands when it comes to clothing. And on top of that, it's basically trying these new avenues that are exploding. So for us, we observe that the whole streetwear and lifestyle markets are huge right now. So we countered that, developed the clothing and the products for that, and we targeted those markets, which we've been successful in thus far. And at the same time, we changed to adapt to the current meta.
100%, man. That's a really good point you brought up. And that's something where, like I said, I was talking to Gabe the other day, and I was like, dude, we're a supplement brand, yet we're selling enough clothing, apparel, backpacks, things like that, to have a viable, legit business outside of supplements. And guys, listen to this. Like, it's crazy. So we took the crowd that we had with supplements, and we essentially took really good clothing and good apparel, like, I mean, good stuff. Like, we're talking like Adidas bags here. We're talking Oakley. We're talking like co-branding, like having relationships with different brands where we can do stuff like this to make it, to where we're not selling like cheap, crappy product. You know what I mean? And you guys love that.
Yeah, and the most recent one, I know I'm sitting here like trying to show you the logo on my shorts, which looks a little weird.
Champion, man.
Champion. We're actually doing a collaboration pair of shorts.
You were scratching your balls. I didn't know what was going
on. I tried to keep them tucked up high enough. I tried to wear my compression shorts so they wouldn't hang down to my knees today.
Okay, cool.
But
Thank God.
Oh yeah. So we succeed fairly well doing that. Yeah. And another thing that tends to work very well for us, which the meta on this kind of has changed. Facebook tried to kill this side of things, which would be like the tag, like this person, etc., as a giveaway.
Yeah.
right? So Facebook has tried to kill this. However, the platform like Gleam really helps us leverage this. But the idea all around is hosting giveaways, even if it's just samples, or even the full product giveaways to help spread awareness for your brand. Here's the catch. You're eating that cost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're eating the cost, but you're gaining the following.
You're getting the following, and then not only that, I mean, you're gaining a potential. Let's say you give away, I don't know, $200 worth of product or whatever, and you gain 4 customers off of that are long-term customers. That's big time, man. And that's what a lot of people don't do. And a lot of that comes down to, and this is where we've gotten really good at. This is what we've gotten really good at is creative. So like you're doing your post on Facebook and Instagram, your creative has to be really, really nice, man. You got to be above what everybody else is doing. And that's something that we've really focused on lately is how do we make our creative different than somebody else's creative? And by creative, I mean the photo and the text and everything.
Yeah.
Like, how does it stand out over another ad on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or Twitter or whatever you're doing? How do you make that happen?
Exactly. How am I going to catch your attention with a certain point of media? Because not everybody's going to have the same taste, but there is where, you know, us guys here at the editing house, like that's our job. We have to capture as many people's interest with a specific ad as humanly possible, but at the same time, we can't make that ad look too one way or to another, because then you're losing out on both ends of the spectrum.
And you got to test it. You got to test different creatives
yes.
to see what happens. Like I had one creative that was just working really well, and I really stuck with that because it was just garnering so much attention. Then Facebook banned it. So I had to switch, and now I'm in the switch mode. But you know what? Something I found out. This was really cool, actually. You should listen to this. I usually do the 18 to 25 market, but what I found out is if I go from the 35 to 50 market, I'm getting more screen time. Meaning like a 19-year-old is flipping through Facebook really quick, where the 35 to 50-year-old is kind of like scrolling slower. So I'm kind of figuring out, okay, this might be really cool to market to this set of people because you're essentially getting more of their time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No, dude, 100%. Which, you know, I was gonna make a joke about coming out with like an Insane Labs version of like OsteoBioflex or something like that.
Citrical.
But you know what? Hey, that actually ties into one of my next points, which is, you know, once you have that little bit of leverage with some capital, you need to diversify your product range. Yes. Don't stick to the one thing that you're used to. So you'll see, yes, we have like 14,000 different pre-workouts, but we also have sleep aids. We've got mass gainers. We've got electrolyte products like Krampus. We've got pump products like Insane Veins. We're coming out with the new proteins. I mean, we have a whole line of things, and it's good to be diversified.
Very, very good to be diversified. And the thing is, a lot of guys look at that and they're like, oh, this is so bizarre. Like, you know, you come out with this and it doesn't match with this and that doesn't match with this. Well, if you look at Insane Labs over the course of time, it's really evolved. Like it used to be more like creature based and things like that. Well, if you look at the latest products, they're more of a clean look, and it goes all the way to like our hashtag line that we're coming out with off of Insane Labs is very, very corporate looking. So we're always evolving off that. And I think you have to always, you know, turn the bolts and just kind of like tweak things a little bit here and there just to kind of see what's gonna work, and seeing who your customers are. Like with us selling like streetwear and urban clothing and things like that, like, dude, it works. It's
changing and adapting to the current meta. I mean, that's
it's not just a logo T-shirt or a logo. It's we're doing something outside of the box.
I mean, dude, we just did a drop tail T-shirt that had a snake viper on the back with this cool kanji, which the Japanese style writing on either side, and
it was sick, yeah.
But that, you know, it's one of those things like, would you think Insane Labs would come out with that normally? No. One of the best selling T-shirts.
Yeah. It actually is our best selling T-shirt. I actually found that out yesterday. It's our fastest selling T-shirt we've had. And another thing too, I'm looking at you right now, and you're wearing a shirt with a Grim Reaper with no branding on it, which I think is something really different, because a lot of people are always like, it must say Insane Labs, or it must say, you know, brand A, brand B. Yeah. We're coming out with some things that don't even have our brand on it. It's just a little different. You know what I mean?
And like, you guys, like, if you look right now at some of your, I'm not necessarily going to say bigger brands, and I really don't want to name drop, but you know, like in particular, like Hollister and Abercrombie. If you go back and look over the past, I'm going to go with just 3 years. That's actually a relatively short time for a clothing brand. Go look at the vast difference between their branding then and their branding now. You're going to notice a vast difference between logo placement, giant Hollister, California, or Abercrombie. No, it's just a little tiny logo, if even there.
You told me about that actually, and I checked it out, and I was like, I was shocked because I was used to the 5 year ago, you know, just that, you know, like that going on with the little $40 T-shirt or whatever with the logo on it. But now it's like vastly different, dude. It's like way different than it used to be.
Yeah.
But what they're doing, they're adapting, man.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna have to adapt or they'll be out of business.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, this point here, this is more so one that you're going to be able to talk on. So once you have your products and everything out, the one thing that you do not want is you don't want somebody to copy you. You don't want somebody to rip you off. You're going to go license your product. You're going to take the money, you're going to swallow the cost for it, and you're going to go get it licensed. Or you're going to get the name,
Trademark,
whatever. Trademarked, registered, etc.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's what you need to protect your products. And it's not saying you're not going to have copycats. I mean, if you look at when we came up with the concept in Insane Labs, you know, almost 4 years ago now, it's like a lot of stuff in the market is clearly a copycat of it. But it's like you can't dwell on that and let that hurt you. We're still growing, and we'll keep growing like that. But you definitely want to protect your products, and specifically in different countries like China. Like I read an article yesterday where Yeezy, the Yeezy brand for Kanye West, he didn't trademark his name in China. And I hope it's not a fake story, but it looked real because in China, it's like whoever just gets the trademark gets it. Like it's not about who's selling it. So we did that really early to make sure that we had our trademark in China. So you got to really look at other countries too, not just the U.S. in terms of trademarking. So it's a real lesson to be had whenever somebody else has your name in another country. It really sucks. So be thinking of things like that. This is once you're, you know, developing a brand.
And I think the final point that I kind of have wrote down, which, you know, we've hit on it just a little bit, obviously, when you mentioned Facebook, Snapchat, and all those good things. It's very simple. Internet. You need to be there, period.
You've got to be there. And here's the thing with Insane Labs, we're a mom and pop brand. That's where it started, and that was the roots. So now you're seeing us get strategic internet partners that make sense, that don't piss off all of our other people. You know what I'm saying? And we also have other brands that are focused around Amazon. Like we have a brand focused only for Amazon. We have a brand focused just for solely on the internet called Cheat Nutrition. It's been around for 7 years. You got to really play all the angles. And if you're not on the internet, I mean, to be quite frank, you're fucking yourself, because that's where everything's going to go. I mean, you see Toys R Us is closing down. You're going to see a lot of brick and mortars closing down. That's just the future. And if you don't see that, you need to get out of business ASAP.
It's 2018. If you are not on the internet, odds are your brand is not going to survive. If you manage to make your brand survive, sans internet, I want to know what you're doing.
I mean, put it this way, man. So when Jason and I were talking on the last podcast, you know, for what we would do in a whole year, we'll do in a month, just direct to consumer from our own website now. If that shows you anything, the power of the net. And that's like 80% in the States.
Yeah.
So it's pretty shocking, man, when you start seeing the numbers that you can do on the net. You know, if you're just like really just only brick and mortar, or you're just selling in like Sears or something like that, you're really gonna be screwed. Yep. So you better change your attitude on that.
Exactly. So I mean, dude, if you have any other points that that you think are pertinent for people to hear, I feel like we pretty much hit on a vast majority of, you know, the immediates of if you've got some capital, what should you do?
Well, I mean, I hate to harp on this, but I always do because it's so damn important. But if you have the capital, get a budget together and put it into Instagram, Facebook, and I even like Snapchat right now. Like put it into Snapchat because it's undervalued. Whoa. You really need to. It is, man. There's still people on the platform that's undervalued. Like put some money into those things, and then influencer marketing, like you hit on that. Another big thing, man. Find out, you know, how to play influencer marketing and how to use it, not just getting an influencer.
And I would, you know, I'm going to take a wild guess here. I'm not sure what our, you know, cost is right now on Facebook ads, but with a lot of advertisers pulling out right now, and with the recent debacle going down with Facebook and, you know, all the political stuff, down. I was going to say, I think you'll see ad rates drop because they're looking for every penny that they can possibly scrape up right now.
That's a good point, man. There's not a lot of big advertisers in, you know, in Facebook right now. They don't get it yet for some reason. So the ad prices are really, really cheap. So that's where you want to put your money, man. You put your money into Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and then influencers. That's where it's at.
But I think that covers it. I think that's a pretty good, you know, idea. Unless, like I said, unless you've got, you know.
No, I think that's it. I think we save more for each episode, and you know, I do want to do another like advertising,
of course,
podcast maybe a little down the road, like when we kind of see what happens with Facebook and where the ad rates are and things like that. Because I think people have shown interest in these podcasts like that because they want to know a little more about it. So we'll keep harping on that.
Exactly. But anyway, guys, I think now you guys have a pretty good idea of what to do once you have a little bit of, money saved up from sales.
Once you're established a little bit.
Exactly. If you guys happen to have any questions over this podcast or any questions in particular for Dustin himself, make sure that you drop a comment down below if you are listening to this on YouTube, because we do post these on YouTube now.
Yes.
Or if you're just listening through iTunes, Spotify, or any other market, make sure that you just go to one of Dustin's social media profiles, which would be Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, for those of you that are getting real crazy.
Oh, man, getting crazy on that LinkedIn.
Yeah, just drop him a direct message, and he replies to absolutely everybody.
I do, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm Austin.
I'm Dustin.
And we will talk to you guys later. Thank you.